What up, Nick Nation? It's your boy Juby the Tubi. Hope you guys are doing good. Happy March 23rd. Hope you guys are staying safe. The Hawks came into town last night and beat the Knicks 117-111 without Julius Randle. Trae Young is the new bad guy, new sheriff in town. Loves being the bad guy. Took a second bow again. Told a fan to take this L. Obi Toppin got the start. That much more. Knicks season is over. We could pretty much write it in the books. It was inevitable. It's a long season, but we got to start looking towards the future. Definitely, this is a sign of what the Hawks are and what the Knicks are. It's time for the Knicks to get into rebuild mode. Again, I'm Juby the Tubi with family above everything, and I'll be joined by Zenray from Zenray Sports TV. We'll talk about last night's game, what the Knicks need to do, and how Trae Young enjoys the spotlight, and there hasn't been a villain at Madison Square Garden since Reggie Miller. Stay tuned. Coming right back in 2 minutes. What's up, Nick Nation? How you guys doing? Salute to you guys. Happy Wednesday, as I said, March 23rd. The Knicks go down swinging. Here's a couple of highlights from last night from Trae Young. The new villain in Gotham. The new Joker, the new Reggie Miller of this time, Trae Young. Take nothing away from the guy. Love him, hate him. You got to know he's talented, cocky, plays against the crowd. I love it. I hate him. I can't stand him. But you got to give credit where it's due. And the fact of the matter is, the Hawks and Knicks are in two different playing fields right now. The Hawks, who were at one point of the season were in 10th place or 12th place, and they were hit by COVID, and a couple of players were injured, where we're looking like they were going to be a team that wasn't going to miss the playoffs. And then Trae Young and company just got it together, exactly what we wanted to do. And unfortunately for the Knicks, the season, it's game over. Trae Young, respectively, takes a bow again last night, where the Hawks win 117-111 behind Trae Young's masterful performance, 45 points. And for the Knicks, we had R.J. Barrett with 30 points. Obi Toppin got the start with 10 points. Not too much, but at least he got the experience. And Alex Burke, 21, and quickly 17. Salute to you guys. I'm Juby the Tubi, family above everything. Hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys are enjoying your week so far. But yeah, we got some highlights down here. As you guys can see, Trae Young and company just torched the Knicks, guys. I mean, it was sad to see, but let's bring Zenray from Zenray Sports TV in here. He'll tell you what his thoughts were and how this season is actually over.
Dominating point guard that the Knicks dearly need. 117 to 111. We'll be on with Juby the Tubi, family above everything.
What's going on, brother? Good afternoon.
And there is Mr. Juby the Tubi, family above everything. It's nice to have Juby on, and we'll switch screens to get Juby back on here. Welcome, Juby the Tubi, family above everything, New York Straight Sports Talk. We here once again to discuss the demise of the Knicks, and a lot of the Knicks Nation is happy, Juby, that right now we're approximately between 8th and 9th in that lottery standings. Not something we should be proud of at this time, but look, we have to get talent here. We have to probably get a new coach to develop this talent, because it doesn't matter what youngsters you get here. If Thibodeau wants to go heavy veterans a la Burks and a la Randall and a la Fournier, we're not going to see what these young kids are all about. But I did like the fact that the young kids played last night. We had Barrett, who led the team with 30 points. And then we had, quickly 17 points once again. McBride got an extra 5 minutes from the other night. He had 8 minutes. So look, it's a how you call it, a transition for baby steps for Tom Thibodeau to get this. I need to play my veterans. So it's exhausting to watch Tom Thibodeau lackluster in terms of playing the youth a little bit more. Sims 13 minutes had 2 points. Gibson in 20 minutes had 5. McBride 8 minutes had 3. Quickly mentioned at 17. Grimes in 12 minutes had 3. And there was no Julius Randle. Wow. Baby was sent to the corner.
He was punished. Salute to you guys at Zenray Sports TV. Appreciate you guys having me on. Gotham. We know his name. We tremble by his name. The new villain of Gotham is not the Joker. It's not the Riddler. It's Trae Young. Mr. Ice Cold in his veins. 45 points. Love him. Hate him. You have to respect the man. I hate him personally. If I would throw a rock at him if I see him in the street. That's how much right now he got my blood boiling. But at the same time, you got to respect a man's craft. And last night was a glimpse again of him taking his second bow. But instead of doing a bow this time, he did the Ace Ventura loser take this L to the fans and to a fan sitting in the front seat, in the front row. And he basically told him, hold that, take this L and enjoy it. Because right now, the Hawks are where we wanted the Knicks to be. It's funny, I was looking at some stats. In January, the Knicks had a better record. They were in the play-in tournament, and the Hawks were bad. Everybody was saying the Hawks were going to miss the playoffs. They were hit by COVID, injuries, and Trae Young wasn't on his A game. Now the tables have turned, and the Knicks are where the Hawks were before, and the Hawks are playing fantastic basketball. It just shows you the difference in the difference in skill right now as a team collectively, how the Hawks are gelling, and the Knicks are light years away from being that. And I'm going to say, and I know this is a word that cringes New York, it is time for a rebuild. Rebuild around R.J. Barrett. Rebuild around Emmanuel Quickly, Miles McBride. Rebuild. Because baby got sent to the corner, like you said, Zenray, and he looked like he was punished. He looked like he stole cookies out of a cookie jar, and mommy and daddy put him in the corner, so he didn't look too happy I don't think there's no injury. The knowledgeable fan knows that there was no injury there. He's
That
just
was
being,
internal.
yeah, he's just internal. They're giving him some time off to get his head right. But it just comes to show you, Zenray. I'm gonna get your opinion right now. Between the Hawks and the Knicks, it's like yin and yang. It's the opposite. It's crazy right now. The Hawks are looking like they're hungry. They're young. They got Trey Young. They got players around them that can score in different levels. And the Knicks seems like they have R.J. Barrett quickly, and for some reason, Alex Burks is still getting a tremendous amount of minutes.
Look, when you don't have a star player and the Knicks don't have that, Trey Young can take the game over at any time. What person can you say right now, besides RJ Barrett, that needs to kind of, sharpen his tool belt a little bit and his craft a little bit more to get there? But he's getting there. But we don't have a player like Trey Young. We don't have a star player that can take over a game at the last second. We don't, Juby. We have Fournier, Burks. You don't have anybody. Randall, can you kind of Randall? No handle Randall, who is moody at best.
Depending on how the universe is, the stars are rotating and how the moon is lined up, is how Julius Randle mood is.
We know what Randall is. Randall is a talented player who's almost at star level. Almost. He's not a star player in my eyes still yet, but he's almost a star player. But he's not a first or second option on this team. And maybe on another team, it could be a second option. I think it's time for him to be out of New York and reduce the pressure that's internally building up in him and within his family. And the reason I say within his family is because his wife is as frustrated and feels him when he comes home and not,
Sure.
his face is just a face that is not one of the first faces you want to see. And when I see his face, it just makes me say, like, this is not a player that should be in New York. You see a player like Barrett last night. Barrett played a tremendous game last night. He was 9 for 25 from the field. Not great percentages. His shooting for three has tailed off a little bit. He missed 6 free throws, 11 for 17. Had a total of 10 rebounds. And he had, a total of 13 rebounds. So he hit the boards last night. 3 assists, 2 steals. He had 5 turnovers because he was handling the ball a lot. And he had 30 points. So that's tremendous. Burks, 36 minutes of play, hit or miss. He had 21 points, so he didn't have a bad game at all. Mitchell Robinson, 9 points in 35 minutes. Topping, I like what I saw in Toppings in those 24 minutes, 10 points. If you give Topping more of a starting responsibility, those 10 points, if you had another 10 minutes there, can be 15, 16 points a game from a person you don't need a lot of scoring from.
Yeah.
So at this juncture, what do you do on the Knicks? Do you trade Randall and put Obi Topping as your main guy? I would do it for next year.
Me
And you
too.
mentioned that you want this transition, that you want these youth players to play. As long as we have that clogged drain, and that clogged drain is Tom Thibodeau. He's not going to let anything through. He filters everything that comes through, who plays, who doesn't play. I'm surprised that Leon Rose, and I'm not surprised really, but I'm surprised that the organization itself is still leaning toward him coming back next year. That's all Leon Rose because of his relationship and giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. But if it was me, you get a young coach in here that can uplift this team and get these young kids motivated and ready to play for next year.
Definitely the relationship comes into play. If any other coach didn't have a relationship, I think they would have been fired. Having the season they had last year to coming into what they're doing right now. But I think Rose is giving Thibodeau the benefit of the doubt. I think he's going to try to go out and get him this talent that he would want and put talent around him. And if he continues to do what he's doing now, then I see a mid-season or maybe 20 games in departure. And he'll get paid. Jim Dolan. That's one thing you could say about him. Hate or love him, every person gets paid when they sign with the Knicks. So they never leave money on the table.
Any NBA player, you sign for contract, you have to pay. It's not like Dolan is on the welfare line or anything like that. He's getting paid. He has billions, but yeah, obviously. But the thing is that the Knicks have to be kind of shrewd about this. You don't want to wait too many games. You want to get a coach ready. And I wouldn't be surprised if it'll be one of the assistant coaches coming in because they have a relationship with and then put him as an interim coach, because you can't just make a change so fast without having training camp with the new ideas of a new coach coming in or his system coming in, and that can cause a disruption as well. So I see Thibodeau being there for the long haul next year, or an assistant taking over, because it's too harsh to just to change the system, the game plan, the whole system a new coach may implement when he takes over a team. So that's a lot to be looked at this time. But next year is a critical year, not only for Tom Thibodeau, for Leon Rose, World Wide West, Scott Perry. I just look forward to make changes. I'm glad that right now there's still another 10 games left. The Knicks are 30-42, and we can still, hate to say that, lose more games and maybe move that 8th or 9th and maybe land in the 7 or 6, and maybe we'll have a shot. If you get to 7, your odds are so much greater to get the number 1 to number 2, number 3 spot in that draft.
Yeah, and I would package that draft. Honestly, if you're not in the top 3 this season in this draft, time for Julius Randle to, like you said, he looks like a man. When I watch Julius Randle's body language and his emotions, I see a man that's just had it. Like, he's emotionally drained, emotionally frustrated. He doesn't look like he's enjoying the game of basketball. And sadly to say,
yeah, it's an act. It's almost,
So if you get the 7th, 8th pick, package that with Julius Randle, and maybe get something that's a win now. I mean, if Tom Thibodeau is still here and you want to get a point guard that's a win now in the next 2 years kind of thing. If not, I mean, you're going to have to, if you want to rebuild and you want to build around the youngsters, then you're going to have to cut ties with Tom Thibodeau, and then you can build from the ground up. But if you, with Tom Thibodeau there, they're in a win now or win next year mode. And I don't see it with Julius. I think Julius is done. RJ, I think, is developing fantastically. He didn't really show his breakout season until after the All-Star break. So I do want to see him next year. And I think he's only going to get better if he stays healthy. And Julius Randle, to me, is the guy from the Atlanta Hawks. Bogdanovic is his name. Mm-hmm. That's who Julius Randle, as far as star quality, is. You guys see how Bogdanovic is not an all-star? Nobody refers to him as an all-star player. Nobody does anything of that caliber, but he still puts up numbers. He can shoot way better than Randle, but I'm saying as far as quality, that's what Julius Randle needs to be to a team. He can't be the number 1 guy. He can't be the number 2 guy. He needs to be the Bogdanovic of a team where he can still put up numbers, still look great on stats, and still get paid. But definitely, Obi Toppin with 13, 14 points as your starting power forward is enough. If you get a legitimate point guard, and if you let the other young kids play, I think we'll be fine.
I agree. It'll be an exciting brand of basketball, because you can even sprinkle a combination of having quickly starting at times and having Grimes and McBride coming off the bench, and then you can have Cam Reddish in there. You can have some interesting lineups with these young players. Say if you don't have Fournier there, you could bring a Cam, you could bring a Quickly, and you can experiment with these young kids, have a Topping, and if you sign a Robinson, this will be a young, excited team running up and down the floor. That's Topping's game. This would be something that has to be instituted by a new kind of clever coach that can get the best out of his players. And the only way you're going to get the best out of your players, and I've said this before, is to put them in the right places to succeed. Tom Thibodeau does not do that. He would have been a perfect coach for the Atlanta Hawks, a team that has
Lakers,
possibly, maybe. No, but Lakers, you have too many veterans. His welcome would get tired over there with the defense and all this. No, like Chicago Bulls, you have like a team that is in that state or that step that they can take the next step over getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks are nowhere near that. So by hiring him was only a short gap. That was the bad move that Leon Rose did here. By bringing such a coach who's veteran ready to bring a team to the next level. The Knicks were never veteran ready to do that. Yes, we had our veterans, but he does not implement the youth. And the Knicks had some young pieces that we drafted that we never really got to see much this year, besides Grimes. And that's about it. You didn't see McBride a lot. And then Sims. Okay, you saw Sims. But besides that, you didn't see enough of them to get a clear picture of what this young team is made of. And I think hopefully with these last 10 games, you can do that.
I hope he plays them, man. Me, you know where you got for Nick Nation. You know where I sit with Evan Fournier. Me personally, I would trade him for a first round pick. That's how. I know it's not feasible. I know it's not possible. I don't like him. I don't like his inconsistency. Last night 4 for 11, 3 for 9, 11 points. 26 minutes. That's your starting shooting guard. That's the guy that you brung to set the tone to beat the Atlanta Hawks. That's what you brung, and that's what he produced. That's why I don't sit there and I don't like him. Obi Toppin, phenomenal game. 24 minutes, 5 for 7, 0 for 1 from 3, 7 rebounds. Could have had a little bit more rebounds. Didn't play the fourth quarter. For some reason, they didn't really want to play him. So if he would have played like 30-something minutes, I could have seen him with 14 points and maybe 15
easily and probably 10 rebounds.
and 10 rebounds. That's what you want from a power forward. Those are perfect numbers. He doesn't need to score 25, 30 points. That is great. Right now, if I'm Knicks management, I would look at this and say, Obi Toppin has got the start yesterday. He didn't put up all-star numbers, but he put numbers up where we know he can be okay in that position. If we bring in Jericho Sims to back him up, or if we bring in Taj Gibson if you want, along with Mitchell Robinson, let's see what we can get for Julius Randle. And I'm pretty sure if I'm Knick management, you're not gonna advertise that to the media. You're gonna keep it in house. You're gonna let these games ride out, and then come draft, you're gonna say, "Hey, is anybody interested in a Julius Randle on a draft pick?" Maybe not. Maybe they'll move down. Maybe they'll say, "We'll give you next year's draft pick or whatever, and we'll take this year's draft pick and take Julius, and we'll get back something great in return." Who knows? I just want this season to be over. I don't even want to see the young kids because I know it's not going to happen. The young kids are going to be Jericho Sims and it's going to be Grimes. I already know Grimes is a part of the Knicks future. Great player. I already know Sims is. McBride is going to get spotty minutes, but not enough for me to make my educated decision on if he's going to be our point guard of the future. Let's let this season be over. Let's look forward to the Summer League and to the draft. And that is it for me. Me personally, as a Knicks fan, I've had it with Tom Thibodeau, and I've had it with these vets.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, the only way you're going to get anything from Randall, I just hope they had this talk with him. He sat a game out. These last 10 games, Randall has to play like this double.
He might not play against Charlotte next game, just not to cut you off. It's already announced that he's a game time decision. Apparently, his injury has been bothering him for the last 5 games, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so let me just say this. His value is only going to go up if he plays in 9, 8, 7 games and just plays this ferocious type of basketball that we know Julius Randle can play. Take this team and kind of put some numbers up. What he's been doing for the Knicks this year, empty numbers, because he hasn't done anything else. He doesn't hustle back on play. He doesn't play defense. He just inflates his numbers. That's what he's been doing most of the year in a lot of his games. But if he can show that he can play the type of play he did last year and kind of put the effort in, because people are not only look at stats, they look at the effort, the attitude. The only reason Fournier and these guys don't play well, obviously you don't have a point guard, but you have a negative force that you have to deal with. It's like going to work. And then you have to deal with a worker that's always bad-mouthing, arguing, negative. And I think we had a worker like that in our job once. We won't mention no name. It kind of deflates the team and deflates the person. And you want a positive influence to kind of motivate, and you look forward to come to work. And that's when you have a cancer or a bad apple on a team. That's what's a lot has to do with the record they have, besides not having a point guard. Because last year we had a point guard. He played defense. I wonder if that would have worked still. Look, a lot of things needs to change. It's not only Randall. It's Thibodeau and the way he's coaching. Listen. Randall and Tibbs are tied to the hip. There is 1A, 1B, so they can't do no wrong. And like you said about Randall a couple of shows back, they don't institute no responsibility. He's not set accountable to himself and to the team, because he does whatever he wants. And this is why you have to get rid of him. If you don't get rid of him and Thibodeau lets him do the same kind of stuff, what makes you think he's going to change? And next year he's not going to do the same thing. So then, if Thibodeau can't institute a policy or a way to make him accountable, then Thibodeau, you're right behind him. You're right there, 1A, 1B.
Like you said, buy one get one free, 2-for-1 special.
Exactly. So Juby, I really don't have nothing to say. I'm just look, the team has 10 more games. Our next game is, let me take a look at this.
Charlotte, I think tomorrow. I'm not sure when it is, but it's against Charlotte. It is against Charlotte. Oh my God! It is against Charlotte tonight, ladies and gentlemen, at 7 p.m. Look at that.
Yeah.
So I knew it was against Charlotte, but for some reason I thought it was gonna be tomorrow and not tonight.
This is one of the teams that we needed to bounce over. So if we would have won our game at Utah, picked up a game there, won last night, picked up another game, and then you beat Charlotte, another team that's in front of us. Wow, because you did Washington already. Okay, that was pretty easy. Then you faced the Jazz. That was not so easy, but if we would have won that, would have picked up a game there. Picked up another game last night. Then you beat Charlotte. You pick up another game. Knicks could be out 2 games with 9 games remaining. That would make it interesting. But that didn't happen. The Knicks lose 117-111 at the Garden. Trae Young displays a show. He's the showman at the Garden. We don't have too many showmen, but Barrett did put 30 points up. That's the closest show after that. But Bogdanovich had 32. The Knicks lose 117-111. It's just tiresome to go on to talk. But Juby, I look forward to doing the show tomorrow afternoon, late morning tomorrow afternoon, same time tomorrow, talking about the Knicks. And I look forward to the Knicks. I don't think we're going to win this game, but I hope we don't, because the further down we go, games out with 10 remaining, you're not going to make the play-in. Let the kids play. Let them make mistakes. And if we win the game with the young kids, I'm happier, because that way we know they got the experience. They're getting a gel of each other, getting to know each other and gelling together as a team. And if you win, you could put some points on them and say, wow, these kids want to play. Look, McBride the other day, he had like 20 points and 18 assists at the G League. Yeah. There's talent there. You just have to let it open up and let it translate in the NBA play. But the only way you're going to do that is by playing him more. But when you only play him 8 minutes, it's ridiculous. 8 minutes of play? I don't know, Juby. We can talk about this over and over again, but
yeah, the only thing I'm going to say, guys, this is going to be my wrap-up. Like Zenray said, I'm mixed emotions. I'd rather them lose and move up so this we can get a higher value draft pick. The play-in tournament is completely out of my head. There's no chance. It's like winning the lottery, like you said. When you go buy a lottery ticket, there's a slim chance, but is it really going to happen? You kind of play just to play sometimes. The only thing I would say, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last piece of advice I'm going to say, is Knicks management, you need to do something before you have a Shaq and Kobe problem again. For those of you who are my age or a little bit younger than me, Shaq and Kobe were a dynamic force, could not coexist. One was jealous of the other. Lakers decided to keep Kobe, trade Shaq. Right move to do at the time. Everybody questioned it. And I think right now, although I'm not on the same talented playing field, I think we're having the same kind of problem here in New York. I think Julius wants to be the man. RJ's ready to be the man. RJ's showing he could be the man.
RJ is the man.
So
RJ is the man.
So right now, if you watch body language, and I want you guys at Nick Nation to just pay attention to when RJ does a great play, when Julius does a great play. There's no high-fiving really too much. There's no buddy-buddy system between those two. So that's in the making. Just to kind of give you a little glimpse of what's to come if they don't get their act right. I am Juby the Tubi, wishing you guys a happy Wednesday. Be safe out there. And I'm also reminding you that you don't have to be blood to be family. And as always, family above everything. Stay safe, guys.
Thank you, Juby. Let me just reiterate what you said about Kobe and Shaq. I wish we had talent like Kobe and Shaq, which we don't. But let me just say, the person who benefited out of that separation was Dwayne Wade with the Miami Heat. Got a championship for him. So that benefited him. And then talking about Julius Randle and Barrett, they're all in water. Barrett is a gentleman, a man with integrity, a man with sportsmanship. We won't go, which that's the opposite of the way Julius Randle acts and conducts himself on the court. That's what I want to end with. Barrett is our future star. We just need to add more pieces, people who can play the game like a Donovan Mitchell, who are leaders. And that's what Barrett needs, a leader, a positive leader that can lead this team. Because if he had that, this team can be much better than the record indicates. And the reason by having a poisoned apple, a bad apple, whatever you want to call it, on the team brings the teams down. And I think Julius' mental health has a lot to do with that. Juby, it was nice having you on. Zenray out. I just want to say before I go out, it's to New Yorkers, everyone around the world, the people in the Ukraine, we pray for you every day. Never give up. Never give up, Nick Nation, people around the world, knowing that the best is yet to come. As long as you have love, peace, and gratitude. Zenray out. Juby, we'll see you tomorrow night. Good, and we'll go from there. Love you, brother. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, early afternoon.
All right, brother. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Zenray out.
All right, guys. That was Zenray with Zenray Sports TV. We back tomorrow afternoon to recap the Hawks, Knicks, and Hornets. Hopefully we lose. Hopefully no Randall sighting. Let's get these games out of the way. Let the Knicks continue losing so we can get a better record. As I stated for my partner's show, I'm Juby the Tubi, reminding you guys you don't have to be blood to be family. And as always, family above everything. Stay safe, guys. Have a great day. Peace.
We are the New York Knicks. 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 Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. We're back on track, here we come. League is something 21 and the Knicks are on a run. And I'll tell you with Tibbs, we have bit too much to handle. With Barrett, Bullock, Burst, and Randall, it's the Knicks, and we're taking back our place. Everyone's gearing up with a mask on the face. The guard's going crazy, and they're doing it for a reason. 21 is the Knickerbocker season. You better believe the Knicks got all that it takes. We're shooting three-pointers, and we're running fast breaks. And if your defense makes a mistake, then BAM! Robbie dunks in your face. This is a team you don't want to miss. We are New York. We are the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go!